Congratulations, you made it into music school. You must have worked so hard for this. You're so excited to walk into your first lesson so your teacher can tell you how great you are, but then you're told you're garbage. Then you realize that's why you're here, to become not garbage. So here are a few things to help you on your journey to becoming not garbage. The first thing you have to realize is that everybody starts off as garbage. There's no prodigies or anything, they just put in the work. If you just have the mindset that you're not a prodigy and that there are prodigies, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be down on yourself and you're not going to want to practice. So just embrace the fact that everybody starts off as garbage. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to practicing. So you sit down in the practice room and you realize you don't want to play this music. I didn't pick this. Which brings us to the first tip. See if you can pick your own music. It is important that you do let your teacher choose some of your music, but maybe if you choose a bit of your own as well, it could make it more fun. You're more likely to put in better work and more work in if you like what you're playing. This concept was shown perfectly in what was called the Clarissa study. Here's what happened in this study. There was this girl who went by Clarissa, and she was told to practice 2 pieces of music. One that she really liked, and one she was assigned. The study found that she put in much more work on the piece that she liked, such as practicing longer and practicing more effectively as well. The end result, of course, was better playing. So maybe you have a strict teacher and you can't choose your own music, but at least see if you can. And if you can't, well then just choose your own music outside of your lessons. Tip number 2, know what you want out of your practice. If you wander aimlessly into the room without a plan, you're not going to get too much done. Or maybe you do get some stuff done, but not the stuff you should be working on. Start with the big picture. Where do you see yourself, say, 5-10 years from now? Next, look at some things maybe 2 or 3 years in the future that will help you get there. Then maybe down to stuff like this year or this semester. Then down to a month, a week, and all the way down to 1 practice session. But that's not it. Then go down to what you want to work on in that practice session, down to what piece you're going to choose, what phrase of that piece, and even down to one puny little bit, like down to notes even. This all seems kind of overwhelming, but it can really put you on track to what you actually want to accomplish in the practice room. Tip number 3. You don't have to do all of your practicing with your instrument. In fact, a 1984 study found that a mixture between practicing and practicing just in your head was the most effective way to learn something. Now, don't go thinking that you don't have to do any practicing on your instrument. Again, the best combination is both, not one or the other. That being said, amazing things can be done away from your instrument. A famous example is of Keiko Abe, a marimbist and composer who learned a whole concerto on a plane because she didn't have time to practice. She was just looking at the score, listening to recordings, and playing it out in her mind. Of course, she wouldn't be able to pull that off without practicing on and off the instrument a lot. So the next time you want to practice and there's no practice rooms, just try doing it in your head. See how it goes. The next 5 tips are from a book called The Little Book of Talent by Daniel Coyle. If you haven't already picked up this book, do yourself a favor and get it. Tip number 4, find a role model. It can be very useful to really keep an eye on somebody and try to mimic everything they do. See what you can learn from them. Also, try to find a role model that comes from a similar background as you. If you have a lot in common, you're much more likely to have motivation to get to where they're at. If they can do it, why can't you? Tip number 5, stop timing yourself. It can be pretty tempting to put on a timer for a certain amount of time and just work on it for that amount of time. But it can be a lot more useful to set a certain amount of repetitions instead. Repetitions. Of course, you can't stand there forever. You have other things to do, such as classes, but try to keep timing to a minimum. Tip number 6, practice every day. This one should be pretty obvious from day-to-day life. You're going to get much better of a grade on a quiz if you study, say, every day instead of cram the night before. The same thing applies for music. An hour a day is going to get you much further than 5 hours the day before your lesson. Tip number 7, fix mistakes right when they happen. You're just wasting time if you're not. That's why you're in the practice room, to get better. So fix your mistakes. If you just breeze on through, you're going to forget what your mistake is, and you're just going to be in the same place as you were before. So good luck if you don't do that. And finally, tip number 8. Practice slowly. I said slowly. Slower. Slow. That's better. Practicing slowly can have many benefits, including really seeing if you're hitting all the notes, and if you're hesitating when you go to those notes. If you can't really think about every note you're hitting, go slower. So there you have it, 8 tips on how to not be garbage. Good luck out there.